The show where there are no penalties, nothing is offside, and everything is fair game. This is The Gloves Are Off.
Welcome back to the set of The Gloves Are Off. I'm Matt Schumont, filling in for Moses Waldo, and of course, joining me as always, Greg Buchanan. How's it going?
Not too bad.
And then our guest today, Brandon Bosler, Lloyd FM. How's it going, bud?
It's going really good. Happy to be here.
You ready to do this?
I think so.
You're getting pumped up. I heard the music going. You were ready to go.
I was, yeah.
Want to get right into things?
Sure.
Okay, well, dude, Matt Cook, last week, that hit on Erik Karlsson, ending Karlsson's season. Now, a lot of speculation going on with that hit, considering Cook has been suspended 5 times. Do we think that was a dirty or clean hit? What's the thoughts on that, boys?
It was an accident. He's taking the player out. He has his leg between his legs, kind of pushing off and trying to pin him. That's what you're taught. Unfortunately, because of what Cook's done in his past, he's kind of getting painted with the same brush. And unfortunately, it's an accident that takes out one of the best players in the game. It's
absolutely an accident. There's no way you could mean to, I don't know, kick your leg down right onto his leg.
What was he doing with that left foot? What was he trying to do with it? Was there any reason why he had it up so high, or was he just coming down to try to stop it?
Well, I think more than anything, as he stopped, his foot went up in the air. I don't think it was by choice to have his leg come down on top of his. And if you watch a lot of the players, they do have their leg up and they're trying to push in between the legs and kind of pin that player against the boards. Just basically an accident. And unfortunately for Cook, everything he's done in the past, he's trying to be that right guy right now and trying to do the right thing in the NHL. But what you did in the past kind of paints a bad brush on you right now. So
yeah, he had a good year last year. He only had like 25 penalty minutes or something. They said he was changing his ways, and unfortunately, because he's had some troubles in the past, he's kind of getting in trouble, especially from the owner for Ottawa. They're really tying into him.
Yeah, I'm going to touch up on that. The NHL has a 48-hour cool-off period for GMs and owners, but that wasn't really going to stop Eugene Melnyk for his thoughts. Did he kind of go overboard saying, we're going to go after him pretty much the next game, and this guy should not be playing in the NHL? A little bit overboard?
Way overboard, but at the same time, I can kind of relate with Eugene Melnyk. If, running the Bandits, if somebody took out, say, a Chris Romanchuk or a Mike McKay in our team, regardless if it was clean or not clean, we would be upset because we lost one of our best players on our team and one of the best players in the league. So Eugene's upset because he lost his star marquee player. On top of that, Spence is out of the lineup. So all of a sudden, he's seeing his season coming unraveled in a big hurry. He's upset. Is it warrant? No. Eugene, you have a Chris Neil on your team who's no angel at all. I believe on Sunday, last night, he banged his stick against the glass, got kicked out in Jersey. So when you live in glass houses, don't throw rocks.
Yeah, exactly. You take it the other way around. You say Cook or Karlsson would accidentally do that to Cook. Nobody would even talk about it. It would be something that was over and done with. But he has a reason to be angry, I guess, but it's not really justified for what happened.
Yeah, now they hook up one more time near the end of the season. So it's going to be a good one. Hopefully Lloydminster's David Derzinski's in the line for that one too. Wouldn't mind seeing him drop the gloves with Cook for sure. But we're going to talk about the Blackhawks now. Unbelievable. 12-0-3 to start the year. They're only one game shy of tying the record for most to start the season with points. Are they ever going to lose?
Well, they eventually will. But you know what? Chicago had an off season last year. Everybody was kind of wondering what happened to the Hawks last season. They definitely bounced back this year. Look at the start of the season. They are a good young team. We can say they're young, even though they won a Stanley Cup. They're still a young, good hockey team. I guess there were some questions regarding goaltending on that club, but they've had those questions answered, and they look solid throughout.
Yeah, they got probably the most depth in the league. I know I thought St. Louis was maybe the team to beat with the most depth, but you look at guys like Taves and Kane on one line, then you throw Hossa, who's still elite, on the second line, then Sharp on a whole new line. That's 3 lines with guys who can put up 40 goals a year. That's pretty unstoppable.
Yeah, well, they played my Kings on the weekend too, and I was telling Brandon, they're fast. They're a fast team. Their puck is not on the stick for more than a second. Their transition is unbelievable. So do they tie this record, or could they break it possibly?
I think they break it. I think they break it with everything is happening right now with Chicago, the teams that are taking on in the next, you look in the next couple of weeks here, not exactly world beaters they're going to be playing against. They're great at home. They're great on the road. And like you said, their depth is, and even on the back end too, they look very strong.
Well, they got Vancouver tomorrow, which Vancouver's been playing a little better too, so that's going to be a good game. And then they got San Jose. So 2 teams that probably going to give them a little bit of competition, but the way they're playing, I don't think they will lose to either of those two.
Okay, now that's obviously been a surprise team. Has there been other teams that kind of caught your eye this year? Unbelievable starts, or maybe they're at the bottom where you didn't think they'd be at the bottom?
Well, LA Kings near the bottom, unfortunately. Washington Capitals near the bottom too. More than anything, I think, as much as I hate them, is the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
They get a lot of hype, but you know what? They're a team that's playing a lot of grit. They lost their #1 goaltender. They're still finding ways to win. The other team, their big rivals, Montreal's had a great start to the season too. And a short 48-game schedule. A lot of teams are looking at it. We don't have to have a big-time effort to get into the playoffs. We just have to get on a few rolls, make sure there isn't a lot of dropbacks and and having losses in a row, like an 8 or 7 game losing streak. All of a sudden, you're out of the playoffs. So you look at those two Canadian teams; they're doing fairly well. Unfortunately, for the likes of the Flames and the Oilers, the Flames are probably doing a lot better than people thought. Yeah. And the Oilers, we knew they had some questions regarding their back end. And it looks like they have some issues there.
For me, the team that's been surprising is Anaheim. They've only lost 2 games in regulation. There's a lot of questions coming in. They said Corey Perry didn't want to be there. They weren't sure about Getzlaf. Yeah. They weren't sure if they were going to get these guys signed or if they were going to ship them off. But I don't think you think about getting rid of them now. They're second in the Western Conference. They've only lost those 2 regulation games. That goalie that they brought in, that Fast, or however you say his name, he's been phenomenal.
Yeah, he's been unreal.
Nobody knew who he was, and he's putting up the wall, and they look like a team that's going to be tough to beat.
All right, boys, we're off to an amazing start. We got to take a break, though. More Dump and Change coming up after the break.